Hi there, it's Kevin Benedict, Principal Analyst with the Center for Digital Intelligence, and I want to thank all of you guys for joining us today. I'm so excited because today we have a digital expert on, Alex Veytsman. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Kevin, it's a pleasure.
Now, Alex is in one of the hottest parts of the market. He's focused on intelligent automation. So, Alex, before we kind of charge into our discussion, why don't you share with us what your definition of intelligent automation is?
Absolutely. Let me talk about the spectrum of automation. I think most of you are probably familiar with RPA, robotic process automation, or our circles known as systems that do. You might have seen them before, systems that essentially take one task and repeat it over and over and over again. Simple automation by any means. If you look at more towards that intelligence spectrum, you have systems that learn. There's a system that can observe a human being and repeat multiple tasks over and over and over again. And when it doesn't know what to do, we'll actually ask a human being, hey, how do I act on this? And the human will correct it, they'll teach it how to do it. So it takes a little bit of cycle times, but that's how essentially we look at intelligent automation. Now, at the very, very end of that spectrum is cognitive, right? Systems that think, systems that do not require human beings whatsoever, systems that essentially are able to make their own decisions, make their own judgment tasks, and execute on the human behalf. So that's how we view automation specifically at Wipro.
Well, that's tremendously exciting. And why is this, why is now the time everybody's talking about intelligent automation?
Absolutely. If you look at some of the top analysts coming out in the market and talking about the future and predictions, by 2022, it's expected to look to see about 2 out of 3 jobs will be in automation. That's according to some of the top analysts in the industry. It's going to be about a $37 billion market at that point. So it is the area of opportunity for all consulting firms, system integrators, and service entities. And it is a big push for companies like Wipro and others in the industry.
So where are the early adopters out there? Where are they initially finding that early adopter value?
So, from my experience, we've seen quite a bit of adoption coming out of the BFSI sector. Banks and insurance companies, fintech is always at the forefront of this. We also have been seeing quite a bit of interest from the various manufacturing, supply chain, as well as retail organizations. Things like virtual agents and chatbots have been always in development, and they finally got to a point where the conversation like we're having now is becoming very natural. And natural language intelligence is one of the top priorities for now for most companies. And if you look at the CIO agendas for 2017 and 2018, really, that's a big part of what they're looking at. How to automate some of the systems intelligently, but also how do we make this technology more appealing to our customer? How do we give us a little bit of an edge in terms of the market play? I had a recent conversation with the CIO of a top retail organization in San Francisco, and they said, hey, we need to get into the market of customization, clothing and entire lines. How do you do that without a massive hiring effort? You can if you apply cognitive intelligence and very interactive chatbots, both with voice, visual, and text capabilities. So the world is changing a bit. You'll see this in the market quite soon.
Oh, yeah. So talk to me, Alex, when Wipro goes in and talks to a CIO or a CEO, matter of fact, maybe you can share with us which one do you usually talk to, or maybe both. But when you're in there talking to them, what's kind of the sweet areas of what processes you kind of pre-identify as a sweet spot?
Absolutely. So really, when we speak to the different stakeholders, it's the C-level suite. And when I say CIO, that means 3 to 4 different things in different companies. So there are different areas of opportunity. But at Wipro, we're traditionally an IT system integrator. I am new to the company. I came in to really focus on the business side of things and really speaking with the CEO, the CFO, and the revenue officers as well, and the CEO as well. So those are the areas where I think are most opportunity at the moment. In my view, the areas of opportunity within IT has been oversaturated, primarily with RPA. It's been done. It's kind of becoming more of a commodity. But on the business side, there's a heavy amount of opportunity, both customer-facing and outside. And I think that's really the way to go. Some of the processes that we're seeing a success, really things that are very repetitive, right? If you think about a claims process within the insurance company, those are traditionally done by agents and supporting organizations. Now, concept like a fully automated insurance agent, for example, is one of the use cases where it can be fully automated. And again, systems that learn is essentially where that's is the capability lies. And with a combination of a human support as well as a chatbot support, you're able to execute the entire ecosystem of a claims process end-to-end via automated solution, and eventually kind of phase out the human being altogether. But at the moment, we're very much focusing on technologies that enhance what a human being does, not so much eliminating a resource. That's never our intent.
Got it. So let's talk about some more definitions here. So there's intelligent automation. Is that just an umbrella term for algorithms and artificial intelligence and machine learning and all these kinds of things put together and overlaid on a process?
Sure.
Or is intelligent automation something different?
It is an overall umbrella of the different components of essentially what's called AI, right? But there's a big distinction there, and there's the reason why we call it intelligent automation. So I'll take a little bit step back and kind of do a little bit of session in terms of the different definitions of what they really mean, right? So if you think about AI, the idea of AI is to essentially mimic human actions, human interaction. That's what AI does. Machine learning is something different. Machine learning is essentially teaching the machine in a way that is either mimicking human learning experience or a completely different experience altogether, right? So you use machine learning to essentially teach AI to perform human-like tasks or beyond, right? So those are the two distinctions between the two concepts. They are used interchangeably all the time, but there's a big difference there. And we like the term intelligent automation because it encompasses the entire system, entire definitions for both, as well as other systems that are also part of it. Things like accelerated workflows and swarm intelligence and other cognitive functions of AI.
Very good. So talk to me about the skill sets that are involved there, Alex. When if you're going to be implementing automation and that's a high priority on your 2018 agenda, then what skill sets do you need to be bringing in, either hiring internally or using somebody like Wipro to bring in? What are those skill sets you need?
Absolutely. That's a good question. So the world is changing a little bit, and I think some of the traditional skill sets that have been around in technology space are changing now. Many of our consultants not only have the strategic consulting components, they can understand the business side of things and where the high value impact is, but at the same time, they also need to have enough technical know-how to understand exactly which processes to automate. And so we're hiring kind of a mix of, I would say, consulting skill sets with a technology background, but actually the technical background is more important as long as the consultant actually have the ability to communicate with customers, which I think is the most important part, because not everybody can communicate with customers.
Got it. So talk to me about the technologies and maybe even the platforms that are required to really implement automation across the enterprise.
Absolutely. So there are many different technologies that are used in the industry. The way within Wipro, we have quite a few of our own technologies, including Homes, which is our primary AI platform. We have Avamo, which is our primary chatbot solution. But my practice is a little bit different. We have been given a charter to go out to the industry and benchmark some of the top technologies there. My goal is to have about 140 benchmarked and partnered with by the end of 2018. Right? So that's kind of our goal by that. We're already exceeding about 30 different partners by the end of 2017. So when we exit that, we'll have the velocity of the partnerships and the technologies and the ability to monetize that in the market. So the idea is very simple. We focus on our system integration capabilities, which is our core business. We don't want to move away from that model. And we're taking in the best technology in the industry, and we're leveraging it for our customers. Now, that said, there are 2 to 3 different technologies that we can leverage internally as well. And we are technology agnostic by nature, meaning that we can pick any technology we feel are the best fit for the customer's specific needs. More than that, we are taking some of the top technologies in the industry and we're benchmarking them and creating a database that the customers will be able to leverage as a SaaS product and be able to identify what the best solution is for a particular use case, their industry, and their needs.
Well, very good. So is intelligent automation a platform play that has APIs out to all the typical process-driven applications? Is that how it works, or how do you overlay an intelligent automation where it recognizes where it is on a process?
Absolutely, Kevin. I think you hit on a very good point there. The word intelligence is a key part of it, right? So if you remember RPA, robotic process automation, it requires quite heavy lifting on the integration part, especially in our part, and be able to integrate with the different systems, legacy systems and platforms that are client sites. The whole idea of intelligent automation is the fact that it is intelligent, right? It goes out there and it self-identifies the legacy systems and platforms, and looks into the different components that the customer may have on their ecosystem, and automatically integrates into the fold. The curious thing about it is that it is quietly effective and requires far less effort on the customer side. There's far less path to implementation. For us, it's even more interesting because it's a much quicker path to revenue, as well as a much quicker path to getting our folks staffed, right? So then we can take on a broader picture and a broader project with the customer by simply adding intelligence to a mundane routine process.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks for answering that. So what's going to change in 5 years around automation here? Kind of walk us through where you see automation going, and how will it look different in 5 years than it does today?
I think its entire ecosystem is changing a little bit. If you notice what's happening in the market right now, AI is only one part of it, and automation is another part of it. But there are other components. There's IoT, which are all the wearables that are being created. If you look what Apple is doing with their VR gear, as well as other companies like Facebook with their VR gear as well. That the VR component is actually a very big part of it, and they're changing the way that many of our customers look at things. We are working on a couple of companies right now. One is in e-commerce, and the other one is in medical devices, and they're looking at things. How do we apply AI together with IoT and virtual augmented reality, right? So I can see in the next 5 years that all those will kind of converge together into one unique platform. But there'll be many players in the market. There'll be early adopters. There are a few already now. Some of them are already stepping out. Some are kind of coming back in. But whoever can create that full stack capability where they can go from the AI piece of it, which is the governing body, right, to the technology components of IoT with the wearables, combine it with the visual components of AR and VR, will actually come out on top. And that's changing our industry. So I'll give you an example. If you think of Amazon, right, who are not a client of ours, but what's the organic next step for them is essentially AR, VR, right? How do you touch and feel the products and even smell them before you even buy them? That's where the industry is going. If you think about medical side of things, how do you track and manage healthcare? And if you look at a hospital environment, for example, you're looking at being able to look at a patient and see how much medicine has been administered and by who and when, and make sure that you're reducing kind of some of the dangers associated with over-medicating patients and through devices like that. You know, we had also quite a bit of interest from the oil and gas industry, where the highly dangerous, highly involved processes where we want to make sure that the correct steps are followed in a particular safety protocol to make sure that no adverse effects happen. And things like glasses and various mobile devices, kind of tablets essentially, help resources within oil and gas to remain safe and make sure that things like the BP spill, for example, didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Technology is playing a big play with safety and kind of how we interact with it. Please, Kevin.
To me, I look at everything that we've been working on for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 decades, Alex, and now we're going back and we're saying, you know, we can go back to everything that's out there and make it smart and build smart, intelligent, and cognitively aware systems. And it's like starting fresh and just redoing everything. It's like a big refresh.
Absolutely. It's the fourth industrial revolution, right? That's what this is. And the interesting thing about it is that it's creating a new world for us, where we can jokingly say this in the industry, that we're all becoming managers. But managers not of people, but of technology. And that will be the functions going forward. You know, me kind of being on the West Coast, really around Silicon Valley and Southern California, I'm seeing much of this already taking shape. You're seeing things like automated burger places where now you're having machines make burgers for you. You're seeing things like automated coffee shops where you can push a button and get your coffee to be produced by an automated barista. Things are changing a little bit visually, not as quickly as some thought. I know that some of the analysts are looking at a much shorter timeline, but I see that next 5 to 10 years, automation will become the norm. Kind of in a way that we used to have folks inside elevators pushing buttons for us, taking us up and down the floors. which we can never think about it now. Same will happen with automation. It'll be a transparent technology that we all use and love. And that's kind of a world that we're creating.
A very exciting one there too. So Alex, I'm going to be watching very closely how you and Wipro go to the market and all the kind of services and products that you guys are going to be supporting there. So good luck with that. You're in a hot market, in a fun, exciting area. So congratulations and good luck with your team.
Thanks, Kevin. We're having a tremendous amount of fun. The last 2 months have been very, very productive and very, very exciting. The team is ready to go. We have specialists wrapping up in all these areas. 2018 is shaping up to be a very exciting year. Stay tuned.
All right. So Alex and everyone watching, I want to thank you for joining us. Alex Veytsman. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Kevin. Take care.